In the blink of an eye review, Pixar's Hitmaker strikes out with his second live-action film. That being said, it still took a decade for Stanton to make his next live-action film within the blink of an eye, and it's easy to see why Stanton would be drawn to such a project. Told in 3 parts, it's almost as though Stanton gets the opportunity to create 3 live-action films at once, each with its own sprawling story, all connecting with a narrative that shows how every person contributes to the future of our society. In the blink of an eye delves into passing on the world to the next generation, loss, love, friendship, and our importance in the universe. It's an ambitious project on every level, and while Stanton's heart is clearly in this project, and it has compelling ideas, In the blink of an eye just does to hit these themes as well as it needs in order to be effective. Over the course of In the Blink of an Eye, we go through nearly 50,000 years of human evolution. The film begins at the end of the Neanderthal era, around 45,000 BCE, where we meet caveman Thorn, George Vargas, and his family. In one cheeky jump, we see Thorn and his partner, Hera, Tani Abedi, have sex in their cave, with their daughter Lark, Skywalker Hughes, nearby, and we jump to near modern day as Claire Robinson, Rashida Jones, and Greg, Dave Diggs, attempt to hook up. Claire Robinson is a doctoral candidate in anthropology who is investigating the fossilized remains of Thorn, while Greg is in her statistics class. Claire is too focused on her work for a relationship, but as her mother becomes ill, she puts work aside and starts to get closer to Greg. From this story, we also jump ahead again to the 25th century, where we find Coakley, Kate McKinnon, a longevity-enhanced pilot who is 210 years deep into a 336-year space mission to populate another planet with human life. Coakley's only companion is an AI assistant named Roscoe, voiced by Rona Reese. More than halfway through her journey, Coakley and Roscoe have to make a desperate decision in order to have this mission end successfully. Make sure to watch them at a midnight screening. The screenplay by Colby Day, 2024 Sisman, attempts to connect these three stories at every possible chance. A discussion of Claire's mom being sick might lead to an injured Thorn in the past, followed by plants dying in Coakley's space station. These connections exist to show that humans have always had to deal with the same problems, and it's just the ways that they present themselves that are different. That being said, these connections also aren't trying to say anything deeper, other than that things like this have happened before and they'll happen again without any further insight. Not helping matters is that each of these three stories does have the depth they need to discuss the larger themes that this story clearly wants to explore. The caveman segment has an unexpected nature to it, and the story's ability to tell Thorn's take is made more interesting by the fact that the film is doing so without using English. With Rashida Jones and Dave Diggs, they were both thrown into a story centered around a whirlwind romance. Yet we never feel the passion or heart within this bond that seemingly comes out of nowhere. Even as we watch their story expand over decades, we never find the weight it needs to work, eventually only feeling like a way to bridge the past and future stories together. Kate McKinnon does her best with one of her most challenging roles yet, which asks her to show her dramatic chops and handle large parts of this story on her own. This also might be the segment that presents the biggest ideas, as Coakley will live hundreds of years and have to watch the children she brings to this new planet die off while she continues to live looking essentially the same for a century. But again, Day's script does not really have much to say about the nature of death and how tragic this situation is, other than reminding us that every story will end with death. Yet, our influence on the world will still live on long after we pass. Day's script presents us with paper-thin characters, while also asking us to look at the deeper meanings of life and the larger themes that impact all of us. Without worthwhile characters to guide us on that exploration, In the Blink of an Eye falls flat. Stanton's direction seems to show where his interests in this story tend to lie. The caveman segments are shot well enough, with caves lit by struggling fires in this frustrating, bleak start to humanity. Claire and Greg's modern story suffers the most, as the look and feel of it make it seem like a fairly generic romance that would go straight to a streamer. Probably not coincidentally, In the Blink of an Eye is going straight to Hulu. But as one might expect from the director of Wall-E, the future segments are the most visually thought out. The ship's interface is fun to watch in action and looks great, while the way humanity is brought to another planet is absurd. It's almost so ridiculous that it's hard not to appreciate how weird it is. Even though it's clear that Stanton wants to tell more ambitious stories in live-action spaces, In the Blink of an Eye posits that maybe he's biting off more than he can chew. Day's screenplay does help him, yet it's hard not to wonder if maybe prioritizing one of these stories on its own could have been more effective than this sprawling narrative without much to say. Stanton has done truly incredible, groundbreaking things in animation, and he's almost certainly got a great live-action film in him, but in the blink of an eye makes one wonder if Stanton should go a bit smaller and work his way up to such grandiose concepts like this. In the Blink of an Eye debuted at the 2026 Sundance Film Festival. It comes to Hulu on February 27. Andrew Stanton's live-action return tries and fails at too many things.